Hey there, welcome back. Today I put together a list of questions that we get asked from new clients who are proposing Savant for their new builds or existing projects to take over older systems. So I wanted to go over this list of questions and give you kind of the answers to it to see if Savant is the perfect installation for you, or maybe you need to look elsewhere at a different system that may integrate with your lifestyle better. So let's get down to it and let's go through our questions. So what is Savant? Savant is a really incredible automation company when it comes to lighting, shades, TV, movie theaters, all of the control inside of a home. They are excellent at it, especially lighting control now. But another thing that they've really dived into is they figured out how to master the audio and video and control experience when it comes to the regular lighting, audio, climate, all of those different things. But now they're moving into the energy space, which I think as a new home builder or somebody who's remodeling or looking to put in a generator or looking for a different solution in how to save energy, Savant is really on the cutting edge of it. We haven't seen that from anybody else. Now they are really pioneering the way that energy storage actually works inside of your home, from energy management load modules that go inside your existing breaker panel to lighting dimming modules that are allowed to go inside the panel itself and now take away a lot of the control of lighting and now put it all into an app interface, be able to control it with keypads, so that also tracks the energy usage. And now, since they've released their new battery storage system, it is now a really crucial part in, do we need a generator for the home, or could we put in a battery storage device that actually operates off of solar? So now we are able to bring in energy and create our own energy, store energy on site, and then integrate it with our Savant system to configure with our load modules to say that we now have full energy management of our home, whether we're getting energy from the grid, power generation on site, which would be solar, or if we have a backup generator, we can now configure our loads and different critical loads throughout that whole system. So Savant as a whole is a really incredible player when it comes to the energy sector and the automation sector in a home. What can Savant control in my home? So Savant controls pretty much anything you throw at it when it comes to an automation device. It controls climate, it controls lighting, TV, audio zones. So if you have different audio zones around your home, they group all together and we can make that a configuration. They really control anything that you want to that is can be integrated into their ecosystem. So they sell thermostats, and we can also use a couple different third-party thermostats that will actually operate with Savant. When we sell Savant, we sell everything in the Savant ecosystem since that ecosystem works the best. Now, compared to other companies who don't have the standing that Savant will have, you'll have to go out and get a third-party device and a third-party device and another third-party device, and hopefully the APIs all open up and work together. Whereas Savant is a very closed system that still allows a lot, but they know that their hardware works the best and their hardware integrates the best with their system. So we try to sell a full Savant package when it comes together. And now that Savant has actually purchased GE Sync, which is a lighting manufacturer, we now can integrate different bulbs, different light strips, and they're very cost effective for our customers. We can integrate their thermostats. So there are a lot of cost effective integrations that we can actually open up to. But when we are proposing a Savant installation, we are proposing the entire Savant hardware. So another question is, what smart devices that I may already have may work with Savant? Well, if you have some GE Sync products, they should be able to be working with Savant. Lutron has always worked with Savant. Lutron does work very well with Savant. So that is an integratable feature. Door locks from August or Yale, they do work. They're very finicky because it is a Z-Wave process. So we have to get a Wi-Fi module and actually make that operate. So some door locks will work, but there's a big catalog of all the different components that may work. And I say may because it's not very easy to integrate older products with a newer system. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. So we really have to look at the finite details of what your installation would be if you have any existing products. And if they don't work, we'll have to spec a product that would work with the system if the control is desired. The next question that was asked is, how reliable is the Savant home automation system? So we haven't worked with a ton of different automation systems out there, but we've actually went in and replaced existing systems due to non-reliability. So from audio zones not working, TV zones not working, touchpads not working, where the customer now just wants a simple solution instead of something that doesn't work. So that's where we implement Savant, because at the end of the day, it's a very easy platform to get up and running and actually operational instead of having a lot of downtime and having your customer not able to use their system. So all of our customers who use Savant have found it really easy to integrate and get embedded embedded into the Savant ecosystem that now they use it every day. And once you have it, you realize the benefits of it and how you can't live without it. What happens if my internet goes down? So since Savant all happens locally on the network through a host, which is one of these devices here, everything is inside your network, which means your lighting controls will still work. Your audio will not work because that actually ties into an external signal. But if you did want to listen to the radio, that still does work as an input. So there's a lot of different things that will work and may not work because a lot of things do go out to the internet, any audio zone, but lighting, climate, shades, control of TVs and whatnot will absolutely work when it comes down to, do I need internet or not? Now, when we spec a larger Savant system, anything from 20 plus audio zones or TV zones, we always add in an external internet connection, whether it be cellular, Starlink, or another local provider. So if we do a Verizon install, we may get a very cheap Comcast plan as a backup internet system, so you never lose connectivity at your home. But if you're a smaller installation, there's no need to worry. Everything can still be done locally, even on a larger system down to a smaller system. So local reliability is crucial, and it makes it very easy to actually navigate the system when there is an internet outage. How secure is Savant from unauthorized application access? So Savant really values customer privacy. So when you are a customer, you have full control of how your installer can help you remotely if they want you to allow any remote help at all. So I have some customers where we are allowed full remote access and we can help you with whatever you need. And I have some customers who lock it down to only on site. So that makes sure that the customer privacy is really dedicated to the customer. So it is very privacy focused instead of the other ones that have a lot of backdoors into them. So from our back end, we're able to see software updates. We're able to see if a host needs an update, if there's a host problem. We're able to deal with an issue the majority of the time before you even knew that you had an issue, which I think is incredibly beneficial. And that is why you choose a quality installer to be able to have that access. Now, that means we don't have access to your front end unless you give us access to the front end. So the front end is your application that you'll use every day. So if you say, hey, I want to make a scene, but I don't really know how to do it, hey, give us access for a couple minutes. We'll build you the scene that you want, and then you can revoke access again. So that makes it really simple for our customer to devise the privacy protocols that they want in place and give us the amount of access that they want, and them be allowed to use whatever they want to do inside their app. Now, it also makes it easy for if they want to share guest permissions or children permissions, they can configure everything on their app and only give their children or their guests certain privacy regulations through their application itself. So they are very privacy focused, which I think is an incredible step in this day and age because privacy is key. And now that we have so many devices on our network, whether it be lighting, cameras, security, alarm controls, water valves, and different things, we just don't want certain people to be able to get access to them. And that's where Savant really focuses on customer privacy. Can Savant integrate with existing automation systems? Now, we touched on that a couple questions ago, but Savant is a Savant ecosystem. Now, if you have a couple devices that may be recognized by multiple different parties, like a Yale or August lock or some other smart devices like I mentioned GE Sync, those devices will come over to Savant and operate. But any other devices that are of the other brands such as Control4, Elon, Josh, or any of the other automation systems out there, they're normally locked down to their providers and their API is locked down from us. So that means if we're changing over from a Control4 or one of those other systems, we will be a full Savant system at the end. Now, we can use amplifiers and different things like that if they are not embedded into their control architecture. So I know Control4 may not sell amplifiers, but they have, another company that does. So their audio interface would be the only thing that we have to replace if we were looking to upgrade somebody's existing system. We didn't have to upgrade amplification. We could just upgrade the actual source platform itself. So it's a yes and no. I would say more on the no side because when we're going in, we are just looking to, make sure that we have reliability and an upgrade from the existing system. Let's get on to the next fun question that we get asked is how much does Savant actually cost? So that is not an easy answer to give you face to face here. It really depends on how much do you want. So for our typical installations, we do a couple zones of lighting, we do 4 to 8 zones of audio, we do TV control, we have to put in a host, which is one of these appliances here. By the time we put speakers in the ceiling, now for a new build, you can get away with maybe 8 zones of audio, a couple TV zones with all the speakers and cabling and everything installed installed probably around $40,000. That's kind of a smaller installation, but you can even go underneath that and say, hey, we just want to get started with a host. We want to do a little bit of lighting, or let's get into energy management. Let's see what we can do with energy. And as soon as they fall in love with the energy platform, then you start to actually move into upgrading and getting those different audio and lighting and control zones that you didn't have before. So it could be $250,000. It could be a $500,000 project. It could be $1 million project. It really just depends on what your intentions are and how much you actually want to control. Now, let's get to the rapid fire questions section. So, can I create custom automation scenes or scenes in my home? Yes. You can build your own or actually take what is actually playing in the house or working in the house, create that as a scene and add it to your scene list. So very, very simple to create scenes. Does Savant offer access when I'm away from the home? Yes, it does. You can also create promotions that people can be local only or have full remote access to the home as well. So that's a key component in Savant. What is the difference between Savant Pro and Savant DIY? There is no DIY version. Savant is an installer only version. You can get GE Sync, which is a lighting manufacturer with thermostats and lights and different things, and that's more of a DIY solution, but that can be integrated on the Pro level as well. Does Savant require a subscription for any feature? Yes, it does require a yearly license, which is very cost effective depending on which host you have. It can range anywhere from a couple $100s up to $800 or $900, depending on host model that you actually have inside of your system. But that gives you access to the doorbells, different things like that. If you have a Ring, it does integrate with Ring pretty well. So that's something, if you did want to pay for that subscription, possibility. So yes, there is a ongoing subscription fee. But if you say, I just have these audio zones, I'm never going to want to upgrade or never do anything else, we'll put you on the latest software and then you should be done paying after that. Can Savant control multiple homes from the same app? Yes, it does it very effectively. So when you are switching back and forth between homes, it's extremely quick and extremely intuitive to switch between homes. How customizable are Savant scenes? Savant scenes can be extremely granular. Whether you're configuring energy settings when the generator turns on, or if you're just configuring a morning bath time or morning shower or nighttime routine or all lights off, it is incredibly granular and you can set every different parameter from the colors of lights to the music that's playing to the TV to the station that's playing. So there is a ton of granular control when it comes to the Savant scenes. Can Savant integrate with high-end AV systems and theaters? Yes, it works with screens, it works with AV processors, it works with amplification devices, it works with pretty much every high-end device that you could think of. So Savant does integrate with any of those devices that you may already have. Does Savant support smart energy management? Yes, it supports smart energy management, smart power management, batteries, for storage solutions, solar solutions. So Savant does work with all of that, which is great. What makes Savant different from budget and more homeowner solutions? Well, it works, that's number one. It is not forced upon different APIs and different systems to actually allow it to operate. So we take in our devices, they work with Savant, and they will work until, the system's, changed or upgraded or moved or whatever you want to do with it. So Savant is really a great system if you are looking to get into the high-end home automation space. Can Savant integrate with my existing security cameras and alarm system? Yes and no. Savant does integrate with DSE Neo panels, I believe some Honeywell panels. We always try to keep security and Savant separate, but we do integrate all of our cameras into the Savant app to keep that one app ecosystem. If you do look to integrate the panels into it, it works fine, but you can't have a couple partitions. If you are on an alarm.com platform, it will not operate. So you really have to pick and choose if you really want your security panel on there. But that is normally up to our customer. We normally recommend just leave your security panel on the side and we'll integrate your cameras and whatever else. But you can integrate alarm.com cameras. You can't integrate a lot of different cameras, but I know that IllumaView, IC Realtime, most Hikvision cameras, there's a ton of cameras that do integrate with it and make it easy, but that's just for visuals. So if you do want some playback, I know that there are some Luma offerings as well as IllumaView that will integrate the NVR into the Savant app and it will work flawlessly. Does Savant support access control? Yes and no. It will work for door stations. So if you do have a magnetic strike on a door or if you have a magnet on a front door, it will integrate via a door station. So not a existing access control system, but it will work if you just want to be able to unlock a door from your door station, but it will also work with the Yale locks as well. So technically that's your access control solution if that's what you're looking for. So it will integrate with that. Can I receive security alerts and notifications remotely? Yes, you can get notifications if temperatures are lower than expected, which is really nice, just in case your AC unit or your heat pump maybe doesn't turn on or there's an issue. The thermostat will actually alert you when it gets below 55 degrees that there may be a problem, which I think is incredibly beneficial. If you're away or if you need to take a look, then you can know that, hey, something's wrong at my property. I actually have to go there or send somebody there to repair the unit. So there are a couple different notifications you can get if there is a problem. How does Savant handle multiple user permissions? Everything is done as soon as you get your app, you'll be the main user. You can then derive different permission settings to different users, such as kids, family members, cleaners, or different things like that. You can basically segregate any permission you want to. So if you say that, hey, I want my kids to only have access to the lighting and music in their bedroom, well, perfect. We'll just give, your child that control, and then they can work with that. If you do want to elaborate on those permissions in the future, it's very easy. You just go in and you can start changing the permission status. Does Savant require a dedicated network in order for it to work? Well, we always put in a network whenever we're building a Savant system. We'll put in a Ubiquiti network for ease of management and ease of use. So we always put one in. Now, if you have a smaller system, it may not be necessary, but if we are running multiple amplifiers, we will have to enable an AVB switch, which is a low latency audio bridging software and device that will actually go on the network and then be able to control all the different parameters for low latency audio between amplifiers. So yes and no, but we always recommend that we put in our own router or our own network to make sure that we don't have any problems throughout the house, especially when our switches work off of Wi-Fi and the remotes work off of Wi-Fi and some touch devices may work off of Wi-Fi. We want to make sure that you have strong networks in place, and that's why whenever we build a system, we always say we are putting in a network. That is kind of a non-negotiable issue, because if we don't and you start to have connectivity issues, well, it doesn't look good for either side, because you didn't want a network and we wanted to put a network in, and we want your system to work. That's ultimately what we want it to do. You're paying a lot of money for a system to work, so why not put in the correct hardware to make it work? How does Savant perform in large homes? Savant performs excellently in large homes. We have from climate control to lighting devices. We can handle hundreds of lighting loads, hundreds of shade loads, audio zones. We can handle TV zones, theaters, so many different key components Savant can handle. And since these hosts are so powerful, this host does a little bit of things, but it's perfect for a smaller installation, and the Mac Mini, and we can even go up to the Super Pro host, which then handles pretty much anything you want. You will never slow the host down. So from small installations to multi-million-dollar installations, we handle it very effectively. Does Savant support Wi-Fi or hardwired connections? So some Savant devices are Wi-Fi enabled, so that would be their switches or thermostats, but the rest of these zones and devices are fully hardwired. So our audio zones, our AVB zones, our touch panels, pretty much everything else is a hardwired solution. We always recommend that it should be hardwired in order for best use case, and the best scenario is to hardwire all your devices. So after rapid firing all those questions, there's definitely a lot of details that we could really go further into, but I think Savant is such a great platform, and we are honored here to be able to sell that platform to our customers, because we love it, our customers love it, and it's very simple for them to use and actually operate. So if you are looking and budgeting and looking to put in or build a new home or take over an existing system, I would 100% highly recommend that you take a look at Savant and find a really good Savant dealer to go ahead and install, because it is so much different than the competition, and in my opinion, it blows the competition out of the water with how much Savant is offering to their customers, from lighting, shades, AV management, climate control, and now especially energy, in a time where energy can be so expensive, and we have seen grid outages in different ways that we never expected to be able to see before. So I think it is something to highly look at, and I highly recommend that you do so. So overall, I hope you enjoyed the video. A lot of different questions, and please leave some more questions down in the comments below, and we will certainly respond to them. So that was another one. Have a great day, and we'll be back for some more awesome content next time.